Hello, Monsters Abound here, and welcome to Distant Worlds 2, a game that I've been looking forward to for quite a while. And I've managed to get my hands on a preview copy. Thank you, Slytherin, for providing the key for that. Now, this is a preview copy. As such, it will be retracted in, I think, a few days, about 10 days or so. So I'm not going to play a full campaign. This is more just a quick look, just to show you. If you've never heard of Distant Worlds, you might be a bit confused as to what it is. It's a game that I've been looking forward to for quite a while. I love Distant Worlds, but the graphics were all very 2D. In fact, the graphics were 2D. That's just what they were. So your ships were just 2D sprites. They drifted along. You can only see from top-down view, that kind of thing. Distant Worlds 2 takes Distant Worlds and builds on it. We now have fully 3D ships, systems, planets, all that kind of good stuff. It looks great. This is actually an in-game model here. This is actually what it looked like, which is really cool. It's kind of like Stellaris. It's a real-time space 4X game. But it does some things a lot better than Stellaris does. Particularly ship combat and sort of making the galaxy feel alive. And also, it doesn't have the terrible fucking war counter thing that Stellaris has, which every time I fight a war in Stellaris, it pisses me off. It so much. It really does. Anyway, so this game is developed by Codeforce and it's published by Slytherin. Slytherin, of course, do a lot of really cool grand strategy games, and they're going to add this one to their belt. So this is just a quick preview. So don't expect like a series on this yet. I might get into streaming just to stream this game because it's a lot of fun. Anyway, so we're going to start a new game. The start of this will be fairly familiar. If you've played Space 4X games before, this will feel fairly familiar to you. So you can pick your galaxy shape, what that's going to look like, how many stars in it, how sort of like I mean, if you have a 2,000 stars in a 6x6 sectors, that's going to be quite dense. But you could space it out, up to you. We're just going to do 700 because that's it's fairly chill. I think we'll do that. And the nebula density. Nebulas are basically like areas of space where you can't travel. Or you can, but it causes real issues for your ship, so they tend to just avoid it. So basically, it creates terrain in what is space. Anyway, so we'll do that. That seems fine. We've got the starting a new game galaxy setting, so we're going to start pre-warp. That means that we will start the game without the ability to jump to faster than light travel, which obviously makes things a little bit slower. But it's quite basically it's your basic start. Galaxy aggression, how aggressive you want the galaxy, how often the AI would declare war on you. The difficulty, normal, it seems quite easy, but we'll stick with it for the moment. Research speed, obviously, research visibility. So you can only see that once you've researched a tech, you'll be able to see the next tech in the list, but no text beyond that. Alternatively, you can just see them all. Random research paths, so that's quite interesting. So you can randomize that or have fixed research paths. And allow tech trading, I turn that off because it's easy to cheese that quite easily. And then we have the threats. This includes space pirates and space creatures, quite prevalent in the galaxy that need to be dealt with. Colonization, so colony prevalence, independent colonies, colony influence range, and the colonization range limits. Leave those on the base. And then we have the races. Now there's 7 races. Now Distant Worlds had a lot of races, but because each of these races now has their own set of 3D ship models, they've limited it down to 7 and tried to sort of like make it get a good breadth of different races from all the races in Distant Worlds, sort of compile it down into 7. So you start off with the we can play the Acdradian and the Mortulon. Mortulon are my favourite race, but the Acdradian are sort of like these fish guys, and they're sort of tech fish guys. Then you've got the Boscara. They are the angry xenophobe insects. The Harkonish, they're trade frogs. The humans, I hope you're fairly familiar with them. The Mortulon are your sort of like basic honourable reptilian warrior race. The Tekan are trading Skaven, and the Xenox are sort of like cultural cats, kind of like the movie Cats, but worse. Anyway, these guys have kind of got like crystally ships. They kind of look almost like crystally. The Tekan have got sort of like quite boxy ships. The Mortulons are quite boxy as well, but also they feel quite sort of like, this is a ship, it carries weapons on it, I don't need to make it look pretty. The human ships are pretty cool. The Harkonish look quite sort of like bulbous and weird. The Boscara are sort of very kind of looks like an alien hive in space turned on its side. The Actradian, I really like their ships, to be honest, but they're a bit too close to Eldar for my liking. So we're going to play the Mortland. Each of the races has lore associated with it, which is quite nice. And they also have a personality. So depending on the race, they may be more aggressive, more cautious, more dependable, have a better reproduction rate, that kind of thing. You've also got colonization modifiers, so the types of planet they want to live on. So for example, the Mortland prefer sort of deserts and rocky, but they don't like continental or forest. The colonization minimum quality, that depends on sort of how nice the planet is to live on. They also get bonuses for various different things. So, for example, the Mortland are pretty good at ship sort of construction, weapons, armor, that kind of thing. But they're pretty bad at diplomacy. Got good war weariness, though, so they will fight and keep fighting for quite a while. Their feelings for other races, you can see they're not super happy with, well, basically everyone. And also the default infantry unit. Now, the Mortland have the best default infantry unit. The Conqueror Force is very, very strong. For example, they have got 140 defense and attack. The Tikan have got 65 defense and attack. So, yeah, that's pretty much how that goes. And allowed governments. So, for example, we prefer military dictatorship and feudalism. But we can have Republic, Mercantile Guild, Democracy, Feudalism, Monarchy, and Military Dictatorship. Some of the other races have different options and preferences to what they want, basically. So, because these guys have got 105 attack and defense. Boscara have got 135. So they're almost as good, but not quite good as the Mortland. So there we go. So we're going to play as the Mortland. So we get an empire. We can have an empire name, or it will automatically decide one for us. We have a flag here. This will determine what color we are on the map. I'm going to go this yellow one because reasons, and I'm going to stick with the military dictatorship because I don't know, why not? We're military boys. Let's go for it. Starting situation. I like my home system to be excellent, so filled with resources to use. Gives us a good base to jump off from. And that all looks good to me. So when they go other empires, we can actually also generate the starting empires, or we can actually select them ourselves. I'm just going to say, just auto generate them. That's fine. You can change things like the race, the tech level expansion. So you can have maybe one or two sort of very advanced alien factions, and see how you can get on with that. So you can sort of tweak the difficulty quite a bit. Victory conditions. There's sort of like basic victory conditions, and there's also race-specific ones. So, for example, the Mortlands want to conquer the most worlds, and they also want like the highest ranked general, that kind of thing. Whereas the Tikan want to, I don't know, have as many mining stations as possible, having a better economy, that kind of thing. So they'll get victory points depending on that, but you also get victory points for like having the best economy, and the most planets, and you know the basic kind of stuff. So we're going to start the game, and I think the start of the game it kind of tells you a lot about how the scope of Distant Worlds 2. So, the Mortland Authority. Our faction is known as the Mortland Authority. Our government type is military dictatorship. With a Mortland, we're typically very aggressive and very dependable. Mortland have natural skills in war weariness reduction, construction research, weapons research, armor research, mining rate, ship maneuverability, ground attack strength, troop recovery rate, damage control, and ship maintenance savings. Our leader is Gobar Pazdaris, skilled in facility construction speed and weapons research. Our home colony is Qwok 2, a rocky desert planet in the Qwok system. Nearby is a rocky ice moon, Abrelos. Wasn't that good? So there we are. So that's our home world. I think if we zoom in, you can see that there's you can see a few lights on the planet already. I think there's more of them as the population grows on the planet. We've got a little moon there, and there's our sun. There's another moon over there, a Carborus planet that's got a little moon. We've also got asteroids around our planet, and if we zoom out, we can see there's a whole bunch. Like we've got a sandy desert planet there that could potentially be good. So colonization, a gas giant. This is actually one of the smaller starting systems I've seen. Deep ocean planet there, and a rocky metallic planet there. I think that might be it. Normally, there's a lot more stuff going on in the old home system, but that's fine. And as we zoom out, you can see that we've got an entire galaxy here, and they've got the nebula, so they create sort of like blockers. So the ships won't necessarily want to travel from like this system to this system. They might want to sort of like travel around to get to it there, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like bit of terrain in space. So we can zoom in on our planets. That's not our planets. That's our planets. There he is. Good. And we can see some ships in construction around our world. The ship construction kind of looks like this, and as it completes, it'll sort of like finish off the hull, and then the components each get constructed. Because yes, our ship is made of a whole bunch of different stuff all going on. We'll have a look at that in a second. But first, glory awaits. In the ancient mortal and troop ship ruins, we have made a curious discovery. We, the slayers of the Mortak, the bravest of the brave. The traditions of our ancestors who came here in the age before live strong within us. We know that they are greatest of warriors who stood against all and were never vanquished, even by the great ancient horror that consumed the stars. We have kept the old ways and the ancient pact to rebuild and regain the greatness of the champions of old. The ancient tales speak of powerful enemies, battles greater than we have ever seen, and incredible dangers. The honour and glory that awaits us is beyond reckoning. We use the star drive our ancestors left us and send forth the brave, the mortal, to reclaim the stars. We have found technology that advances our understanding of early warp field experiments. We have found technology that advances our understanding of research labs. These ruins provide the following colony bonuses: 9% colony development and 6% scenery. So this is a location on our planet. So yeah, ancient mortal and troop ship ruins. That's going to give us a whole bunch of different bonuses, which is quite nice. We can also see various different things here. So there's resources on this planet. Resources are a really big thing in Distant Worlds 2, and Distant Worlds for that matter. And there's a whole load of them. So currently we have Danithfer, Seduster Scales, Necros Stones, and Ossalia. Now you can see there's percentages there. That's how easy they are to mine effectively. We can also see we've got the ancient mortal and troop ship ruins. That's going to give us those bonuses, and also what the planet is building, plus the empire bonuses we're getting there from being, well, Mortalum. So far, so good. Okay, we're going to dismiss that, and already our ship is raring to go. I think this is our explorer. It is the Hasty Subterfuge. And the Hasty Subterfuge is currently on automatic. Basically, it's fully automated. It will go and do its thing without us having to do anything with it. It will just go and start exploring and start sort of like finding the resources in each of these asteroids and moons and that kind of thing. So far, so good. Now, we don't have to leave it automated. We could do it ourselves, but why would we? It's an explorer, right? It's just going to go and explore stuff. I mean, we could tell it to go and do stuff, but it'll do it anyway. There's also being constructed here is some light transports. Freighters, effectively. You're going, well, did you tell to build freighters? Nope. Nope, because freighters are controlled by the private sector. There's a whole big private sector thing. So basically, we will build mining stations around. So for example, once we find a bit of resources, looks like our explorer is currently exploring this asteroid, having a look, investigating, seeing what's there. And we're going to leave that to that. Now, we can actually have a look at the ships. We can look at the ship design. Let's have a look at our explorer. There he is, EX1 Traveller. Let's have a look at explorer. So there's our explorer. That's what he looks like. And these are all of the bits and pieces that make up our explorer. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basic fuel cells. So this provides him fuel that he can use to then travel around. Fuel provides energy, dependent on what... where is it? Where is it? Basic space reactor. There we go. So fuel to energy ratio. So basically it will provide energy based on the amount of fuel. Yes, ships can run out of fuel, and yes, you need to refuel them. Fuel is very important, and refueling your ships is very important. If your ships run out of fuel, they can still move, but very, very slowly. Basically, they'll be travelling at under fast and light speeds. So you probably want a refueling tanker to go and visit them. We've also got basic crew systems, energy collector that will provide some energy without the ship having to use its fuel. Ion engines, it's currently got 3. There are 3 slots for ion engines. That doesn't mean we have to have 3 ion engines. We could actually just have 2, but it will actually provide, basically generate how much speed it can go at, depending on how much engines it's got, how much weight I think it is, and how much power it's got. So if you have a ship with a lot of engines, but the reactor's underpowered, it might not be able to reach top speed. So far, so good. It does have some weapons. You can see one of the weapon bays is actually empty. We could potentially change that. We could add a weapon on, but you also have a size restrictions. So currently we're at 386 out of 400. I don't think we could add. So this is a size of 15. So basically, yeah, we wouldn't be able to add on another plasma torpedo. To be honest, the Explorer shouldn't really be getting into combat anyway. Eventually, we will sort of like get bigger designs of Explorer. We could then potentially add weapons to it. But, you know, probably more useful things for it are like more sensors, more fuel cells, better fuel cells so that it can travel further, because that way it can go further without then having to travel back to refuel. All of your ships are like this, including things like the spaceport, which of course is a lot bigger. At 750 size, it can have a lot more stuff, and you can see there's a lot more empty slots here that could be filled if we had the technology, the size, the bits and pieces. We don't have access to some of these bits and pieces. We could add them on later. You can also get larger sizes of space stations. So they become massive fortresses, you know, actually absolutely bristling with weaponry. Alternatively, you can make it into sort of like purely just a place to sort of like hold on to resources. Add more, I don't know, fuel cells, reactors, mining engine, whatever you got. Doesn't matter. Tweak it however you like. Alternatively, leave it for the game to do. The game actually upgrades your ships fairly competently. It does it fairly well. So you can leave all of this stuff to basically to the game, and you might go, well, but what am I going to do? But trust me, later on, you'll be glad that you can automate some of this stuff. And I'm fairly sure the player can probably, I mean, if they understand it well enough, can probably do things much better than the AI can. But yeah, to start off with, you're probably just going to go, I'm just going to leave it on automatic and play around with it. And then as things happen, you can kind of start tweaking it. So for example, if you go into the policy settings here, so we've got exploration, for example. So we can actually ask, or there we go, advice and automation. There we go. So we can say like colony population policy. We could turn that to manual if we wanted to. Colonization, currently it'll suggest it. So occasionally you'll get suggestions and it'll go, we should colonize this place. Do you want me to do it? And you can say yes. And at that point, the automation will go and build a colony ship. It'll send the colony ship to the planet that is being suggested, and it'll colonize it. Bish bosh bash. Ship construction. Again, it'll say, hey, we should build more frigates. Let's build 8 of them. And you can go, yep, sure, knock yourself out. You can do that with basically everything. Literally, I mean, military attacks, you could set that to automated. You could literally just go, you know what, I'm not interested in war. I want to concentrate on sort of like my expansion. So just do war for me. And it'll go and do war. You can set up your fleets to have various different stances, to do various different things, from defend, to attack, to invade. And those fleets can then be designed in the fleet templates here. And they will then basically just go and do it. Ah, we found some resources. Excellent. So we have found some steel. I think 5% steel. And that's not an awful lot. That's not very much. But what you can do is all of these asteroids will probably have some resources in them. And mining stations, when you build them, have sort of an area of effect. And they will start mining resources from the asteroids in that area. So it might be that you've got 5% here, 10% there, 10% there. In that case, that'll make 25% total, and it will start sort of like scooping up those resources from those asteroids, which is quite nice. Resources, of course, are one of the sort of big things that you need to worry about in Distant Worlds 2, and there's a whole sort of resource window that will give you your current resources, your production shortage. You can see we're low on steel. We could use some steel. We need Carlson, so this is our fuel basically, so this could be found on gas giants, so we need access to that. That's quite important. You'll always find some in your starting system. That's just basic. Mining locations, this will tell you sort of like where we're currently mining and what resources are available. So you can see this is Kawok 2, and that's a resource we're mining from there. New mining locations, this will show you areas that could potentially be mined, and also show you resources that you have a production shortage of. So we can actually just send our mining station to go and start mining that, but I'm going to wait a second. In fact, it's probably, yes, so the advisor's already suggested that we go and start mining that. I'm going to decline that. We're currently just waiting on the early warp field experiments to complete. Let's have a quick look at the research tree. So because we've turned off the whole research tree, we can only see the next tech in the list. So we can see that we've got the early warp field experiments there. As soon as we've researched that, we'll get access to the next tech. What I'm going to queue up though is we want advanced nuclear fission. Yes, so we're going to research that next. Now, again, research can be automated, and of course we can speed things up because, let's face it, at normal speed it's going to take a long time to do anything. There we go. Now counting down. Currently it takes quite a while to survey things. If we research better survey equipment, better survey sensors, it'll take less time and our survey ships will be more efficient in that regard. If we research better engines, they can travel further and faster. They want us to build a base, so we want to build a small spaceport. That's a good idea, so we'll do that. And build ships. They want us to build an exploration ship. I'm going to hold off until we research the early warp drive, because otherwise the exploration ship will just have to come back and retrofit to get the new drive anyway. Your ships will do that automatically as you upgrade them. You can tell them to do that yourself, or you can leave that automatically. Each of the ships will have sort of its own. So, for example, we could say retrofit if we had the ability to. We can tell it to go and refuel there, and it's currently automated, but we can turn that into manually control, auto explore, auto scout systems, auto spy on enemies, or we can just go just do whatever you feel like, and it'll do that. We're currently having a look at this big old moon, which I'm sure will have some resources available for us. Oh, we've got leaders as well, of course. So our characters, we have our leader. Here he is. What a big burly boy he is, and he's ruling from Kuwok 2. We could change his location if we wanted to. For example, if Kuwok was in danger, we could potentially move him to a different planet. It would take a little while for him to get there, but, you know, he would be safe. He's got skills. Skills will increase and move to the next level and increase the percentage bonus that you get from it. Some traits are from him doing stuff. For example, civilian ship construction speed. Weapons research, though, is from a trait because he's an isolationist, but it does mean his colony ship construction speed is reduced, which is not really ideal. You also get spies, so spies can be sent to go and, well, do spy shit, basically. You'll get generals, admirals, scientists. They can all be put in various different positions in different places and can then boost research and gain more skills, doing all that kind of thing. See that our spaceport is currently being constructed and little shuttles flying to and from the planets as they ferry resources up to it. Currently, all of our resources are at our planet. However, spaceports will start accumulating resources themselves. Freighters will start moving resources from one place to another. So planets have sort of like desires for materials. Spaceports have desires for materials. Your freighters will move fuel, like Carlson gas, from refineries and take them to spaceports where then ships can refuel. But if ships refuel too much, they will run out of gas at the spaceport, so their freighters need to keep moving, which does mean that during war, if, for example, you target enemy gas refineries and their fuel mining stations, you're going to really put the crimp on them, because if they start running out of fuel, their ships are going to be doing nothing. We've got some resources being spotted, so we can have a look here. We've got 77% green, pink gas, something. Hang on, takes a lot. There we go. What's this? Tiendrios. Inert gas used in weapon shielding and reactor components. Okay, so we will send our mining station to go and mine that for us. Thank you very much. And he will meander over in that direction and go and start building a mining station. Once that mining station is constructed, it will start mining the whatever that gas is. Tendrios, that's the stuff. It'll start mining that, and that'll start accumulating in the mining station. Freighters will then travel to go and pick that up and take it to the planet and also to the spaceport. Our explorer is now currently on his way, but as you can see, it's going to take him quite a while at this rate to reach his intended target, which appears to be this moon over here. Our spaceport has been constructed. Excellent. So there's our spaceport. You can actually see components on it, how much armor it's got, the hull, all that kind of good stuff. Also see what it's building. So currently it's building some small freighters. And those freighters will now start basically picking up materials from where they need to go and taking them where they need to be. All that kind of good stuff. So again, this explorer is going to take a fucking long time to get over there. Luckily, our early warp field experiments is almost completed. 12 days, 8 days. To be honest, it feels like this is cut. Like he's going to get like 10% of the way there, and then they go, actually, if you come back, we can put a warp drive on you, and it'll take literally seconds to get you over there. So we can dismiss that. So we've got the warp drive now, which is exactly what we wanted, which is great. We've also got a new scientist. New scientist has popped up. That's nice. So we're going to build the explorator ships now. So let's do that. I think you'll probably... Yeah, he's turned around. He's like, I'll come back for the hyperdrive. Thanks. Good. That's, yeah, he'll retrofit himself, and that'll be much better. Okay, so where's our explorator? Is that our there he is. Okay, so our explorator ship is now currently being constructed. So this one will have an early warp drive, effectively, which is going to make it. I mean, it's the slowest of the fast and light travel mechanics, but it's much better. Also, a mining station has been constructed, which is perfect, which means this is now going to start mining some of that gas, because it's already got 1,093 gas. And that means some freighters, once there's a desire for that gas, the freighters will start transporting it. What we got here? They want us to build a thing there. I'm going to say, oh, also a research base. Yes, let's build a research base. And you know what? Yes, let's build a mining station there, because why not? Another explorator ship. Yes, let's do that. Can we see how far along it is? It looks like it's pretty much finished. It's got all of the oh right, it's just building the general components at the moment. You can see unbuilt there at the bottom in yellow. So it's now got 8, 7. So it's getting there. You can also find disabled ships, and ships can be disabled. You can also board enemy ships with troop capture thingy-majigs. Obviously, we're quite good at that because we're big burly lizard boys. And you can capture enemy ships. You can repair derelicts and then use them, or send them back to be deconstructed to give you bonuses in research, which can be very, very potent. But I mean, early on, you can find like ships with, 1,000 strength. I mean, our current strength is 10. So as you can imagine, if you can find a ship which has got 1,000 strength on it, that is going to be very potent. Right, okay, here we go. So this ship is going to retrofit. Oh, is he built too early? Shit. Okay, so he's going to retrofit. We've also got this one who's retrofitting as well. They will go and retrofit themselves, and then we will have some hyperdrive goodness, and it'll take, as you can see, it would have taken, what, like three in-game years maybe to reach the closest planet. With the warp drive, that's going to be significantly faster. So while we're doing that, let's have a look at other things. So you've also got colonies here, so you can also look at potential new colonies. You can set your ships to go to colonies from here, so you could list you all the different planets that you can colonize. You can literally click a button, it'll build a colony ship, it'll send the colony ship to them. That's all good. You can also do things with dangerous locations. You might find positions where there's pirates or space creatures, and if you have fleets, you can literally just go deal with that. And at some point, one of your fleets will go, right, we've got a mission to go and deal with that. Let's go and deal with it. So this game is very automated. Oh, look at that. So good. Okay, good. So our ship has hyperdrive for the first time. And there he goes. Okay, you can see him now, and you can see he's now traveling a lot faster than the other ship, who was just using his slower than light drive. So as you can see, that's going to take significantly less time to reach the next planet over. And again, this is the slowest warp drive. So far so good. We're going to continue doing this, basically. We're going to order some more ships up. So we're going to get some more explorers, and I'm also going to get some construction ships. We're going to purchase those. They'll go start being constructed. All of our explorers will now start sort of expanding out into, yep, there we go. Now we're going. Yes, perfect. So we're going to start exploring all of our home system, and we're going to start setting up our mining goodies and researching more stuff. So we've discovered a strange metallic anomaly that has caused seismic disturbance in all locations across our home system. As a result, mining for resources becomes significantly easier. This release will enjoy a large mining bonus. Oh, a lovely mining bonus. Good stuff. It will take them quite a while to explore all of these asteroids, but this will be quite a nice sort of like area to get things like steel, carbon, imagine silicon as well, that kind of stuff. So this will be a good place to get that. Different planets have different resource bonuses and have different options to have different resources potentially. Yep, you're now sort of exploring this gas giant. I'm assuming we'll find some Carlson gas there, so that's going to be an important one. We definitely want to build a mining station there to acquire that gas, because obviously without that gas we ain't going nowhere. And we now have our survey ships going out and surveying everything. Ah, there we go. So we found some gas indeed on that planet. Yes, so we're going to want to send a mining ship over there to go and mine that. So we'll do that one, and that is fine for the moment. We don't have many construction ships, so I don't want to overload them with orders. But you can just like tick everything, and your construction ships will just go and sort of like mine stuff, just set up mining stations wherever they need to be. And the freighters will go and deliver resources from one place to the other. They will tend to be concentrated on things like the gas refineries, because those are very important for your empire, and you will almost always have a strong desire for fuel. And so the more fuel mining stations you have, the better, because that way you won't run out. And we will also find various different resources, such as this what's this, Vifola scents, an intoxicating perfume. That's nice. So we've got what resources do we have here? Emeros crystals, so that's used in weapon components. We've got polymers, electronic components. So Vifolacent is a luxury, which will give more colony development and make people happier. And then we've got carbonite here as well, so we're going to want to build a mining station there. Our research station is complete. That's going to provide us with additional research. Can only be research stations around places where there is sort of like some bonus to research. So we've got 14% industrial research there, and you can see that our scientist is actually at the research station at the moment. We also Spaceport has some research stations on it as well, so that will provide a little bit of research, and then we can build research centers around any planet which has a research bonus, and our scientists can go and sit there, and they will provide additional bonuses as well, which is all very nice. So as soon as we have that mining station up, that should be fine. We'll jump forward a little bit just to get to the point where we're sort of like starting to build mining stations all over our home system, that kind of thing. So we've had some visitors. They are angry space pirates. They're Mortalan, which is a slight bonus, but basically they will harass and raid our ships unless we pay them off. And to be honest, at this point, since we don't have a military, we are just going to accept that deal, and they're going to leave us alone, which is probably for the best. There can be multiple factions of pirates. They may even start in your home system. They will always have a base to build from. Yes, let's build some escorts to sort of like try and keep us a little bit safe. Things have been progressing nicely. We now have explorers out exploring everything, as is their wont. I think they're currently just doing the asteroids around here, which is going to be useful because we really need some of those resources from that. And we need some more construction ships as well, because they are out constructing our mining stations for us. Things like over here. This one's almost finished, I think. It's getting there. How many more components? 10. Not bad. We've got a new ambassador as well. Probably handing out the Ferrero Rocher. And we've also built an advanced nuclear fission research. So we get better reactors, basically. And that means that our fuel will go further, because it will be able to convert more energy from less fuel. Or basically it'll use less. It's more efficient at using fuel, basically. The first one is pretty inefficient, and then as you sort of upgrade them, they get more and more efficient, which means that you need less fuel, but obviously you then upgrade your fuel storage, which means then you can carry more fuel, which means then you can basically go further, do more things before needing to refuel, all that kind of good stuff. Construct our first military ship, and that will produce our first fleet eventually. We've also found a hidden place. We've got the hidden place of Kuok, ancient ruins from a lost civilization. We can investigate them or leave them alone. We are going to investigate. In the hidden palace of Kuok, we've made curious discovery. We found valuable treasure worth 50,000 credits. The ruins provide the following colony bonuses: 7% colony development, 9% hyperdrive research, and 7% scenery. We can acquire research bonus by building a research station here. We can acquire scenery bonus by building a resort base here. That's right, we can a lovely resort, so that's fine. So that is over here, I think. And the colonizer. Okay, so the colonization suitability for us is 0, which means this is not particularly a good place to put a colony. Do we have any good places to put a colony? This is right. You need about 20 colony suitability, and that's 1. I probably wouldn't put a colony there. That's not really going to be a good place to put a colony. But eventually you'll get the research, which will increase the suitability, and then you can potentially colonize that. Different races also have different desires for different places. So like the Boscar prefer volcanic worlds, and we prefer desert worlds, but obviously that one's not a very good desert world. It's got things wrong with it. We're building up our escorts fleets. Where's our ships? There they are. Right, okay, there we go. We've got a defense force. There we go. So the first defense force there is our first fleet. It has a defend objective, which means it's going to do a defendy things. We can increase the number of ships. We can unautomate it. We can set its tactics. what it's going to do. We can also change what type of fleet it is potentially, and just say, you know, rather than defend, you're actually an attack fleet. So attack fleet, raid, invade, that kind of thing, which is all very good. So we've got an admiral, so he can, I mean, he's not already gone to the ships. We can send him there. Let's send him to the 1st Defence Force, travel to new location. Currently, we don't know what his traits are because he's untested. We've also got a general there. Troop recruitment rate is okay. Sometimes you can get bad leaders. They do bad things. Unfortunately, this is not kind of hostile space pirates. Asking us to pay 125. Yes, we'll pay you off. Later on, of course, we'll cancel that, and once we found their station, we'll surround their station, we'll cancel the payment, and then we'll crush them, as is our want. So things so far so good. You can see that. Is that a mineral miner? Is that a mining ship? What are you? What are you? You are a mineral miner. You are literally, you just mine. Okay, you're like a mining ship. So basically, if there's a desire for particular resources, mining ships may go and get the resources themselves and then come back and sell them. All very... Yes. Weakness has been noted. Thank you. Okay, so we've met 3 pirates. We're paying them all off at the moment. It's going to, you know, it will reduce our cash a little bit, but it's better to do that than be constantly harassed by them. Yes, go and do that. So now you can see that we've got some ships like traveling backwards and forwards. They need resources. They're bringing some of the gas back. They're going to pick up other different resources. The galaxy kind of starts to, just your system starts to feel alive. You know, ships traveling back and forth from one planet to the other, carrying resources, keeping your logistics system alive, which is all very cool. Yes, we're going to build more resources there, and basically it just means that, you know, if you look at your planet, it's not just your military ships and stations. You've also got civilian ships dotted around doing their own thing, you know, going for mining. It just starts to look, it starts to make your systems and planets just feel more parts of the universe as a whole. Yes, of course. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Please go away. It's actually a lot of pirates. Normally I only meet about 3 pirates. This is a lot more pirates than you would usually find, but never mind. That's luck of the draw. So we're currently researching the warp bubble generator, and once we've researched that, we can then start traveling to other systems and exploring those. We can then start mining those systems. Our freighters will then start traveling to different systems, and you know, suddenly it gets very, very busy. It's just this, right? And this is very, very light traffic. Just going to refuel. Yeah, refuel. Transport cargo. So this guy is actually heading to go and grab some of this gas and bring it back to our station. And that's all happening entirely automated. We don't have to worry about that really, although we do have to worry about the fact that we have enough gas to keep everything going and our military ships on the go. Now, we're going to do a little jump forward, or rather a jump into a game which I'm much more advanced in, to kind of see what sort of a game. And I would say this is probably like the early to maybe early mid game, around about. And you know, it's so good. So here we are in sort of, I don't know what year we start in, maybe 23, 20, I don't know how many years, doesn't matter. And you can see that our empire has expanded quite considerably. We started over here at Andromeda, and we've then expanded out. We've managed to secure some independence planets. So we've got some mole people over there. We found some Mortalan independents as well and subsumed them. As we started over here and we sort of expanded this direction, we found like a little trio of Mortalan independent colonies, and we basically secured those. And this has provided sort of a trade lane that sort of like goes from over past these nebula over to this little trio of refueling stations here, and then down into sort of like our additional sort of colonies. I'd say that's like the second sphere. This is sort of the first sphere, this is second sphere over here. And we've now started expanding in here. And we've now, well, we actually, someone declared war on us, rather stupidly. And we're starting to deal with them. the Acdradian, the fish people, techno fish people, have declared war on us rather sillily, and we've got plenty of fleets to deal with them though. So if we go over here, we can see that that's ships, fleets. There we go. We've got a lot of fleets that are also looking pretty killy. In fact, if we zoom over here, we can see that we've actually attacked some mining stations in their asteroid belt, and currently they are trying to fend us off, not very successfully. So combat. Although fleets are sort of their own entity, each ship in a fleet is its own entity, and each ship will be damaged. You can see this ship here has no armor. It's got reasonably good shields, but it banks, and it needs to be facing forward to fire. I think it can fire in like a 180 degree arc, so basically in front of it. But as it turns, it won't be able to shoot in front of it, which means being able to sort of like turn quickly is quite important. And this is, what fleet is this? The 13th Strike Force. And the 10th fleet, 13th and 10th against the 2nd Arcadian, Dradian. And the 6th fleet, apparently the 6th fleet has jumped in to assist. Not very successfully. It should be said the Gauntlet of Andromeda is taking a bit of a pounding there. Its shields are down to about 50%, but I think considering we have much... Oof. Yeah, it did not last very long. These little bits can also be, so you've got random fragment, hull section. Those can be picked up and sort of like researched. How's our ship doing over here? Oof. Yeah, taking some damage to the, I think that's the front armor? We've got backup on its way. And this is just the engagement taking part in the asteroid belt, because if we zoom out, we can see they've actually got a colony over here. And this is basically our objective. We're going to try and take their colony with our invasion ships. And all this is just kind of happening while that's going on in the asteroid belt. We've got multiple other fleets all dotted around. So there's another fleet over there. That's the 3rd Strike Force. There's a 9th fleet, the 12th Strike Force, various. And then, you know, at the same time, we've got all of these ships now transporting cargo. Can zoom into our home system there. We've got quite a few different colonies. Where is our home world? It's that one, isn't it? Andromeda 4? That's the one. So you can zoom in here, you can see there's all of these transport ships dotted around. This is a medium spaceport. You can see it looks a little bit tanky, doesn't it? What are these red things? Red things? What are you? Doesn't matter. This is the 5th Defensive Force, sort of like drifting around in orbit around our homeworld, just in case we need it. All of these transport ships just like dropping off resources to us. You can actually see the resources the ship has. Where can we see that? Where? Well, somewhere. I forget. It's fine. Basically, the spaceport will have various different resources that you can use to construct ships. That is then used up while constructing ships or repairing them, all that kind of good stuff. And while that's going on, it'll be using those resources, and so it needs to be constantly supplied with those resources to keep it going. People will also move around, so you might have migration between planets and systems. And it's just, at this point you kind of go, oh yeah, I'm really glad I can automate some stuff, because otherwise you'd be going mad. Looks like the third 9th fleet and the 12th. They're all heading towards Dana. Dana looks like it's in a lot of trouble. So what's this? A frigate. You can actually change the viewpoint. So this is like the bridge view. I mean, I wouldn't want to be heading in that direction. This is like the flat view. See, that ship is not going to slow us down as we head on towards the mining station. Dana 4 mining station. It's trying to put out a little bit of fire, but I don't think it's really going to help very much. It's just... Oh, it's so good. And there's also a storyline. So, although you get some events, there's not quite as many events as you would get in Stellaris. But, I mean, having said that, once you've seen the events, like, 4 or 5 times, do you actually care? Or do you go, oh yeah, I want the green box this time for this bonus? Well, their mining station has gone kablooey. And we'll get, so they will also suggest invasion, so that send third strike force to attack Valerian. Yep, let's send them to do that. Our frigate, Fearsome Affection, has been boarded and captured. What the fuck? Oh, that's not good. Oh well, it's a minor problem. Good. So, yeah. So this kind of stuff, I mean, you can also do it from the fleet view, so we can actually see enemy targets. So this will list enemy targets, so we could say, you know what, I want you to attack the Rindalun 2 mining station. Do that. There you go. Now there's an objective for your fleets to attack that station. So when a fleet is free and it feels like it could complete that objective, your fleet will then jump to that location, do that objective, and then, well, either go on to another objective if there's another one, or maybe it needs to go back to refuel. All that kind of stuff. And it's just all ticking along, just in the background. And it's just, I just love it. How could you not love it? It's good. It's so good. Oh, looks like we've got some action over here as we head on to take on the Balerian spaceport. Like, just... And each ship is its own little thing. Like, in Stellaris, you kind of feel like, you know, you build 100 cruisers and you don't really care. And you don't really... I mean, it's kind of the same here, but they kind of feel like they have their own independent thing. And, you know, you can tell your ships to go and do something. Well, I'm going to tell this guy to go over here. You know what he's going to do? He's going to go over here. And then I can set him back to fully automate. And he'll continue on his way. And it's entirely up to me as to how much of that I want to do. The ships will also start to look damaged. You can see the station is taking an absolute beating. Ain't no pretty boy no more. Down he goes, leaving little bits of hull and stuff. And all of these merchant freighters now attempting to get out of the way. Unsuccessfully. Yeah, we're not afraid of civilian casualties. Is that a... No, that's one of our ships. That's a fuel ship to keep us supplied. Jumping in to help. That's space. That's a construction ship. That's been destroyed. And now that planet is ripe for the taking. So that's passenger ships all scarpering out of the way. Don't blame them. So we could then find one of our invasion fleets. So we can go invasion fleets, and you can see they're already... So we could say, you go there. And then our invasion fleet is now on its way. Well, ships taking on more mining stations, and I think they may have picked the wrong race to go to war with. We're all over them. So this is Distant Worlds 2. Isn't it good? Out on the 10th of March, and I'm hoping to get my sticky little mitts on sort of like the proper pre-launch version, so that I can play a lovely little campaign, because I do love this game. There's just so much going on at any one time. It's pandemonium. Like, what's going on over here? I have no idea. They just jumped away and I don't know where are they going. What's this? The 11th Invasion Fleet. Where are you going? Why? For what reason? Who the fuck knows? It's good. But we're definitely hitting down a lot of our fleets currently there. And to be honest, if we could start... Once the invade... To be honest, I probably should have organised this better. They declared war on me and I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll sort of like... I've just been playing around with this this game. But you can see the war progress. We're doing much better than them, understandably. And there's different weapons as well. These are plasma torpedoes, I think. just seeing your fleet like moving in to attack is so satisfying. So very satisfying. And yet you get carriers as well. And your bombers and interceptors both can be designed. That's right. Fuck. Right, we can have a look at our bomber. You can see there's a capacity there. That's what he looks like. That's what he's got on him. Pulse torpedoes, heavy armor, all that kind of thing. And there we go. So you could even design that. It's fucking ludicrous. There's carriers. There's our carrier. Okay, medium starfighter. So we've got 4 medium starfighter bays. Ships can get bigger as well. So this is like the first level, but I think you can then get much bigger carrier sizes, which is going to obviously have more space on them. So Distant Worlds 2 is very cool. If you like Stellaris, you're probably going to lose your shit over this, and I know I have. It's genuinely looks to be fucking amazing, and I cannot wait for the full version. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.